Hi, good afternoon. It's I'm here at the Moving Wall. I'm Bruce Dobson. I'm here with the Moving Wall here at the VFW in Beachmont, and we'll try to give you a little explanation about what the wall is all about. This is the apex of the wall, and if you notice, we have 1959 up on the first panel on the east, and that was the first casualty of the Vietnam War. And the casualties are on the wall by date. And after the casualties, it goes by alphabetical order from the date. And the casualties go down on the east side all the way to the end, and then they come up on the other side on the west. And 1975 is the end of the war. So we have 1959, the beginning of the war, 1975, the end of the war. And that brings both the beginning and the end together. And that shows us closure for the Vietnam veterans. We also have some wreaths that the city of Revere bought for the 6 Vietnam veterans that passed away during the war. We have a veteran painter, Walensky, and Delmont. And there's also 2 on the other side with O'Brien and Legros. And Lieutenant Legros was the first casualty of the Vietnam War in 1966. We're at panel 23 East, and you'll notice if you've ever been to the wall, whether it's in Washington or one of the moving walls or the healing walls, there's little mementos that are left by Vietnam veterans. And the other day when the wall came here, I noticed on panel 23 East, there was a half a pint of Jack Daniels and a package of cigarettes of Lucky Strikes. And being a Vietnam veteran myself, I know that that was probably left by a Vietnam veteran who was a colleague of the Marine that was killed here on panel 23 East. So this is a common occurrence. If you've been to walls, you'll always find things that are left by other Vietnam veterans to memorialize their colleagues that were in war with them. At the healing wall here, a lot of people will find the panel in the line of the person they're trying to find. And with today's technology, a lot of people take cell phone pictures of the name of the person they're looking for. But also you have the opportunity to do what they call is a rubbing, which is you get a piece of paper and you get a pencil and you rub across the name, and it will come up on a different color. And a lot of people do that. You can also get that if you go on the website of the Vietnam Memorial Wall. You'll be able to get a electronic scanning of the name, which a lot of people do when they go on the Vietnam Memorial. On panel 10E is a portrait of First Lieutenant Alan O'Brien, and the family left that the other night at the opening ceremonies. And that was a picture taken of Alan when he was newly enlisted into the Army. And Alan died in September of 1966 on Hill 86. And he was over in Vietnam the same time frame I was in 1966. And the family was here at opening ceremonies, and they escorted the wreath up to the wall, which was very moving. Also that same night, we distributed the 5 other wreaths from the other 5 veterans that died from Revere. And there was also a couple of other wreaths there from the class of Immaculate 1962 and Immaculate 1960. And we also put down a wreath for the Gold Star mothers to remember them and their lost family members. Okay, here we have a Harley Davidson. It's called the Gold Star bike. And this was donated by Patriot Harley Davidson of Fairfax, Virginia, and the family of Robert William Cupp. And William Cupp is on panel 6DW, line 27. And what this is a donation of a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and on the front of the gas tank is Robert W. Cupp's etching, and it's all the other names of the Vietnam veterans around him that are on the wall with him. This is brought with the healing wall, and it's displayed for everybody's enjoyment, and it was donated by the family of Robert William Cupp. Okay, we're at the trailer that carries the healing wall. And in this trailer, on this side of it, there's 4 sections. And on this section here, it's the living memorial. And what it has is pictures of the initial, on May 8th, 1981, when they showed the first model of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington and what it was going to look like. And another statue they have in Washington is the 3 servicemen statue. And it was sculptured by Frederick Hart. And it was added on as a memorial in 1984. And it depicts the 3 service members in the Vietnam War. The sculpture depicts experience and service of the Vietnam veterans, and it's a bronze sculpture. It also has a 60-foot bronze flagpole that was dedicated with the 3 servicemen in 1984, and it's a picture of the actual wall. And then they had the nurses statue made out of bronze, and that was dedicated in 1993 to show the service of the nurses that worked over in Vietnam. And also they have what is called the memory plaque. And the memory plaque is something that the names that are on the wall were veterans that were killed over in Vietnam. But what happened was with the Vietnam veterans, a lot of them came home and they died from other causes that were presumptive from being over in Vietnam. In other words, Vietnam veterans that died because of alcohol or drugs, prostate cancer, leukemia, they can't be put on the wall. But what they have is this memory plaque, and every Flag Day they announce the names of the Vietnam veterans. And these names came from the families. You have to fill out an application. If you see your VSO officer, he can get the application for you, and you can go down to Washington on Flag Day and you're able to give some closure to one of the Vietnam veterans that died when they came home. On the other panel, they have when we were at the wall earlier, these are mementos that were left at the wall, and they are brought all together down in Washington. And one of them is a pair of army boots that are kind of deteriorated and have jungle rot on them. There's a picture of the Ace of Spades with the skull and crossbones. There's an actual helmet with the camouflage on the top of it. But something that was very popular with people trying to help the Vietnam veterans was they started wearing the MIA POW bracelets. And if a Vietnam veteran was missing in action or he became captured and was a POW, you could get a bracelet with his name on it and when he was captured or when he went missing. And what would happen was when he finally did come home, if he did come home, you were able to take the bracelet off and send it to the family. It was a great momentum. And there was a lot of poems and letters that were left at the wall in Washington, and some of them are up here, and they're very moving. A lot of them were written from other Vietnam veterans to a Vietnam veteran, and a lot of them were written from the families of their missing veterans. There's a Purple Heart here. If you're familiar, a Purple Heart is given to a Vietnam veteran who had a wound and there was blood, and you were able to get a Purple Heart. A lot of the other ones in the other panel, a lot of the Vietnam veterans, when they were out in the field in the jungle, they weren't getting hot meals. They'd be out on maneuvers for days or weeks at a time, and they had to eat sea rats. And there's also dog tags there, and the dog tags are enclosed with rubber. So when they were walking around the jungle, the dog tags wouldn't clang together and give their location away. And there's a momentum here of Sergeant Dwyer, and it shows his medals and a little poem from his family. Another one of the old faded flag. This is actually a flag with 48 stars on it, and it was donated to the museum the memorial, Vietnam Memorial, to remember that back then there used to be 48 stars on the flag. A lot of these were little paper cards, and what they did was the memorial was able to enlarge them and put them on here so they would never be forgotten. And some of the other ones here are patches. There's a lot of patches here from the United States Coast Guard, the Army, Air Force, Marines, and the Navy on a motorcycle leather jacket. And what it says on it is, Friends of the Forgotten. And it's from Pennsylvania, and it has the POW MIA patch on. And, it says you are never forgotten. This one here is a live bullet. It's probably defused, but it was live when he brought it home. And what it says is, in 1967, the war was real for me. Then the bullet was for myself. I needed it. Now in 1994, 27 years later, the war is over for me, and I don't need the bullet. So I think what that meant was if he came home and he was in such dire straits as he couldn't take it anymore, he was willing to give his life, which happens a lot with Vietnam veterans coming home. So there's a lot of interesting material when you come to the Healing Wall. If it ever comes to your city or town, come and see the museum, and you'll see extraordinary poems and letters, and it's very moving.